Hey everyone, Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Southeast Florida. We're about to pick up the trailer right now and head to a job. It's basically 3/4 of a load first floor, consisting of a king bed, a queen bed, a 3-seater recliner, a sofa chair, 2 accent pieces, and a granite table. So I am going into it with the intention of doing certain techniques certain ways, as I always do, and I will alter that depending on the environment, which is how I kind of go forth with every estimate. Someone asked, well, how do you know what you're getting into? Even if you have pictures, you don't know, like, if it's gonna be a long skinny driveway you're not gonna be able to back into, or when you get there maybe there's like a triple step, or maybe it's like a tight doorway or something impedes with it. That's fine, you're never gonna know 100%, but you should know roughly how to work around these problems. If you've been doing this for more than a couple of months, you should have put yourself in quite a few different situations. Everything's not always going to be super crystal clear and easy to move, but there's problem solving that comes with the job that you should be able to handle, and that's basically what I do. I just so happen to have the experience of already being in those problems, so when it comes up, what may be like a really big dilemma to me is just like, all right, we're gonna have to get a dolly and we're just gonna have to spend an extra 10% of effort to move this that way and it'll be fine. So it comes down to experience, I guess. You don't have to do what I say when I say to do estimates and do this and do that, and just go there and just use pictures and descriptions. You don't have to do that, it's just what I do. But if you're in my situation and your situation isn't going to change, then maybe look into it. But he did send me pictures, so I do know roughly what he told me was pretty accurate. And I can tell you right now what my game plan is with each and every piece. So all of the beds, the bed frames, the box springs, mattress bars, all the way through. Especially a first-story house, easy. Slap it up on the mattress bars, roll it out the door. The recliner, if the backs come off, I'll stand it up and take it out on the hand truck. If the backs don't come off, if he has a double wide door, I'll just pop the dolly on the bottom, roll it right out. If it's a single door, I'll put the dolly on the nose of the couch and kind of balance it like this, so it's gonna look like this. And when I get to the door, obviously that's not gonna go out, I'm gonna angle it like this and hook it through the door. It's a diamond, and you're basically just diagonally turning it so you can get each arm past, because you're gonna have more of a void in the middle than you do when you have the arms on the sides. And then the granite table, there's 2 things that I do. If it's a table that I can't just lift up and adjust, there's 2 different situations. Number 1, if the legs are all sturdy and good shape, I will basically put blankets down on one side where the legs are and where it's bound to meet the ground, and stand it up slowly, control the descent, and then take all the feet off and put it on the mattress bars. If the legs are not stable, then I will put something underneath one side of it, take off those feet, let it rest on that item, go on the other side, take off the other feet, tilt it down onto the blankets, repeat the same process. And the only difference is to try to avoid having the legs snap off and crash into the ground. I've had to do that a few times, and it kind of saves your butt in certain situations. So it comes down to one of those 2 situations with tables. Most times I can just do it the first way. Very few times I have to actually use an item to prop it up, but it does happen. And the other 3 pieces are pretty straightforward. Just slap it on a dolly and roll it out the door. So we will see what happens when we get there, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but we never know until we get there. So I will see you guys there in a little bit. We have to pick up the trailer and then drive on down. Hopefully it doesn't rain. It's getting kind of cloudy out, but we'll see what happens. It's pretty funny. So the dad is talking to me, and he just came out and he was like, how do you know if you're going to be able to move something on your own? Like, what happens if you can't do it? And I was sarcastically, I was like, I'll figure it out. But I explained to him literally the same process I just told you guys on the phone. That's funny. Like literally word for word. I was like, well, I've moved enough pieces that I have a general idea of how to move it. If something hinders it, like the environment, we switch it up. And he was like, yeah, so like different angles, exactly. So That was pretty funny. It was like literally spot on to what I was just talking about. Yeah, everything's pretty straightforward. Double door, which is great. There's 2 kings. It's actually not a queen. I thought one of them was a queen. That's what he told me, but not a big deal. It'll still probably be the same volume, give or take. The middle section of the recliner doesn't come off. Same thing as the last job we did. So because it's a double door though, I'll just take it out on the dolly. It'd be no problem. And then the table is in fact granite, so we have a solution for that. Alright, so the job is done. Went ahead and dropped off some stuff at donation. Went to the dump. Cost me $10. That's the minimum to dump because it's 440 pounds. We were able to donate one of the king mattresses, the 2 box springs, the heavy ass granite table, the 2 like accent pieces, and the sofa chair. So all we dumped was the recliner, which the donation would have taken it, but it had a huge slice in it that would have been hard to sew because it's the faux leather stuff. And then the other mattress had a big old stain in the middle, so that was a no-go. But that's all we got rid of. So pretty good turnaround. Job took me pretty much an hour and 10 minutes or so 3/4 of a truck, not bad. And I was talking to the dad for probably collectively like 10 minutes. It was really funny because it was a hell of a quinkadink that he asked literally the same question I was just talking to you guys about leading up to that job. And I basically gave him the same exact answer back. Like, I just know going into it, like what to expect and how to handle it. And then the one thing that would change is if the environment around it affects the type of technique I'm going to use. And therefore, I would just switch and use a different technique. You know, it's all it is. So that was just really, like I kind of chuckled because I told him, I was like, I was just talking about this. So yeah, overall, pretty easy job. 500 bucks, took an hour, $10 to get rid of stuff. A little bit of a drive getting out there though. Somebody else just inquired online that is pretty much in the neighborhood right behind them. So I have a feeling they probably saw me while I was driving down there. but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a job that gets pushed through, because just based on like how they were describing the situation, I don't know. We'll see. Worst case, if it doesn't look like it's going to be worth it, I'll pawn it off to a guy that I know in that county, and it'll probably be like a 10-minute drive for him. So we'll see what happens. So just kind of touching back on the job real quick, the table, for example, I don't normally have a sofa chair available to use in that situation, but that is something that I do if the legs are not stable. So the way I have the blankets on the ground, that is a way that I would take down tables by myself if I need to, if they're heavier. Essentially, you just kind of tip it up on its side and control it on the way down, and it lands on the blankets versus hitting the ground. Obviously, that's tile, that would have cracked the tile pretty well. Or if it's hardwood floor, you don't want to damage that stuff with the indentations. So I put the blankets down and tip it over. But as I walked around and went to go lift it to see how heavy it was, I noticed the leg was wobbling. And I looked down at it, and one of the holes was stripped and the other one was kind of loose. So I didn't want to try to do that and have it snap and it just crashes into the floor. So something I will do, unless all four of them are screwed up, then I have a problem. But something that I have done a few times in the past is I'll get my brute trash can, that's a little bit more heavy duty, slide a dolly into it to help keep its shape, and I will actually lay that down on the other side of the table where the legs are good. And what I do is I will take those legs off first and let the table rest on the trash can. You might be thinking it's a circle trash can, it'll roll. They're brute trash cans with the wheels, have a handle that keep it in place, and then they have wheels on the end that help keep it from like kind of rolling so easily as well. So that's why I use that specifically. And then I'll basically, since that's kind of holding itself up, I'll go on the other side where the blankets are, take off the other two legs and lay that side down first, flip it up, do the same process I did earlier. So I've had to do that a few times. I did it with a glass table where the glass is a part of the actual like base itself and it doesn't come off. I've done that with a concrete table, and I've done that with a marble table. So now we have a granite table. We almost have all the materials except for wood. Wood tables are pretty straightforward to just play around with. But that is a situation you can do. Obviously be very careful with it if you're gonna try it. But you know, it does help alleviate the weight, which is usually the main issue. If it was a 5-pound table, I could just hold it with my arm like this and just do everything else. So that's usually the reason for it. But everything else is pretty straightforward. Mattress bars, hand truck, dolly, just in and out, super easy. Yeah, that's it. So I hope everybody is staying busy. That's going to be it for me. We are going to try to get some stuff posted on Facebook and Mercari. That's our eBay alternative at the moment that we've been working on. And we're just trying to get some stuff out. I recently decided to make the garage like a gym. Like I bought a squat rack on Amazon. It's all set up, ready to go. I'll throw a picture up on the screen. And we're basically going to start doing workouts in the garage, which means we had to pull out everything that we're going to try to sell. So we'll just have to cycle things that much faster now, which shouldn't be too bad of an issue. But you know, do what you gotta do. That's pretty much it though. I don't think there's anything exciting coming up. No new changes. I did have an idea. Let me put this out there. If you think it's stupid, keep a comment to yourself. If you have heard of it before, seen it before, comment down below. And if you're more familiar with truck mechanics than I am, comment that down below as well. But I recently saw a pickup truck that has a flat top bed on it. So like the cab is here, and instead of it being a bed, it's just a flat top like the Home Depot trucks. And this one went up and down. Now I don't know the limitation to how much it can hold, but it got me thinking of, well, what if I were to just get an aluminum build on it like I did my 12-foot trailer and get it done on this? And then I could basically get a fairly cheap junk truck because I could get a custom ramp done. with a bracket to hold that custom ramp. I could get the doors installed. I could get it wrapped. It'd be a nice smooth finish like my old one. It'll be lightweight, and I won't have to spend $90,000 on a junk truck. Even a used one is still like 45, 50,000, and they have like 120,000 miles on it. So I was just thinking about that. If I could find like one that's maybe like 2018, 2019, that's not in terrible shape, like okay on the mileage, but it's like 30, 40 grand, and then I just got a $5,000 build put on it, I could have a junk truck for a little bit more than what this pickup truck cost. I was just thinking about it, but I don't know what those flatbeds are designed for. I thought maybe with the tilt system, they're meant for like towing, but I don't know their weight capacity and how that would kind of hold up. So if you're familiar with it, if you've seen somebody with it, let me know. I've seen those before with a wood build on them, but they don't tip. They're like used for landscaping. So I'm not sure how that would work out for me personally, but it was just an idea I had. But if you're familiar, let me know in the comments. We're just brainstorming things, trying to think of an alternative to getting another truck and trailer. We'll see. But that's it. Bye.